Hello, my beautiful earth angels. My name is Joanna. I go by Joanna the Healer, or formerly Joanna the Medium. Thank you so much for being here with me. For those of you who are coming back, thank you so much for coming back. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I do hope you stay here. I would like to state my intention, which is something I'm getting used to doing every single time. And essentially my intention for you is to channel information that is relevant to your life somehow, for the purpose of helping you understand yourself better and deeper. And the purpose of that is that when you have a deeper, greater understanding of yourself, you have a wider perspective of the world, and as such, more opportunities become available to you, and life generally gets little bit easier. It is a lot easier to deal with challenges. Also, my intention is to help you through this ascension process. Whatever ascension means to you, ascension to me implies letting go of baggage. So if I can give you any information that can help you unload some heavy baggage and leave it behind, then that is my intention. Define what your intention is from this for you. In other words, have an aim. If your intention is just to listen, just for the heck of listening, that could be one way. Or your intention may be, let me feel when the message is for me, and you will get a bodily sensation. If not right away, then when you listen to it next time. And I'm being specifically asked to state, pay attention to your feelings as you hear me speak. Let your body, not just your mind, let your body dictate whether something is for you or not. You, many of you, those who are sensitive, will get chills, or energy going down your spine, or hair standing on the top of your on your body, on your skin. You will have some sort of a energetic reaction to what I say. Some of you, this reaction will be very positive. For some of you, much more few of you, it will invoke certain maybe even anger. If that's the case, that I am poking at something that might, if you look into it, might give you some indication what's going on. So I just trust the messages that come. Okay, so this is going to be for air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And I have separate cards for each sign at the very end of the general message. And what I will tell you right off the bat, first and foremost, is that I feel very excited. There is this feeling of excitement kind of hanging in the air. And the excitement, obviously excitement is good. There is a bit of trepidation to it because it spells to me something new, something fresh, potentially something unknown to me, or something that is scary. And not scary because it's bad, but scary because somehow I feel it has to do with me proving myself. And it's not necessarily proving myself to the world. So I am essentially becoming you for a moment. It is about you proving something to the world, but it's not like you're seeking for approval necessarily. I mean, yes, that may be the case for some of you. This is essentially, okay, here it is. This is essentially coming out of hiding. Whatever it is that you have been hiding from, or whatever it is that you have been hiding and protecting, there is a fresh new beginning on the horizon. For some of you, this is going to make sense at the end of May. For some of you, this won't make sense until middle or the end of June. So even though it is for the month of April, and this has happened with every single element, the message kind of extends over a period of 2 to 3 months. So keep that in mind. If this is not making sense to you right away, listen to it later. When I was focusing on air energy, aside from feeling excitement, I felt that whatever is happening in your world right now, and I'm pretty sure your world is affected, hopefully not infected, but it is affected in some way, shape, or form. For some of you more so than others. And because of whatever is happening in your life, there seems to be an opportunity that is forming. It's almost as if to say, as a result of this chaos, life is gently, some of you not so gently, going to push you or shove some of you to a more appropriate destination for yourself. It's almost like things have come together in such a way that will gently catapult you forward to something that is more in tune or more aligned with who you really are, or with your, let's call it, purpose. And if you, for example, if you're doing something you don't like, it doesn't mean you're not on purpose. It just means you're resisting perhaps something, but your life is always on purpose. So don't misunderstand me, but this feels like a definite push from the universe, from one circumstance to the next. And for some of you, it's a shove. It's a literally, the world is shoving you into some new path, some new beginning. And although it feels uncomfortable because we don't feel ready, and I can feel this in my throat and in my chest. So there is quite a bit of what's the word I want to use, please? It's that word, that ugly word. Well, not ugly, but I don't really care for it. Resistance. So I feel some resistinitis. And if you feel that, that's okay. All it says to me is that there is some energy that you are pushing against. And this is indicative of something new coming. For some of you, you may have an idea what it is. For some of you, you will have no idea what it is. For most of you, this is job related. But when we look at what's going on today, massive amounts of people around the world have been affected in the way they do their jobs. Some jobs have been shut down. Some will be eliminated. Some will come back and absolutely flourish as a result of this situation. And for many of you, I'm going to say most of you, this energy ushers a new beginning, but I can feel, it's temporarily scary. Now, I am feeling the feeling of scary because the fear is magnified in our environment. I mean, again, you don't have to be Joanna to say that fear is amplified. You all know that, and majority of you who are listening to this are empaths. You are sensitive, so you will feel these energies, these emotions much more strongly. For some of you, this was interesting because it's like this time right now will help you dodge a bullet. And that is obviously, it's not a real bullet, but it's, you know, the saying, when you dodge a bullet, it's basically you avoid something unpleasant. This situation that's happening right now will help you dodge a bullet. And it could be, as an example, as a result of this, your company will lay you off, and you won't come back for a while, and then you'll get support from the government or whoever is going to financially support you. And then you decide that you're not going to go back to that work. You're going to do something much more connected to what you really want to do. And then a few months down the road, you realize that the company you got laid off during this time just claimed bankruptcy. And had you stayed with that company, you would have been out in the cold without a job and without compensation. So that's an example of dodging a bullet. And I feel many of you will understand by the end of May, what this specifically means for you. And again, we are going through a massive shift of consciousness. We are beginning to realize certain things about ourselves. We are beginning to see, or we're beginning to change the way we see certain things. I mean, we are faced with literally changing how we do things. So this energy is ushering a lot of new opportunities. And right now, the energy is chaotic, and I feel this chaos will continue, so to speak, or it'll be felt, I want to say at least first 3 weeks of April. I hope I'm wrong. I guess as a medium, I should never say that, but I hope I'm wrong, because I want it to end tomorrow. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to go into May, and by mid to end of May begins to taper off. But the intensity of it, or the level of drama, and I don't mean that in a negative way, I feel the level of drama is going to continue for the next 3 weeks or so in April. So it looks like by the end of April, or even by mid of end of May, you will have a better idea what this energy has ushered in your life, or how this energy will affect you long term. And again, I keep hearing job related. So for many of you, this is in relation to how you earn money. For many of you, I felt that the universe was working actually in your favor to help and guide you on the right path. Again, and actually what I heard was satisfaction guaranteed, and I don't guarantee anything. The one thing that I can guarantee you is that I will do my best as a healer and as a medium, and that one day you're not going to be here. Anything else, I don't guarantee. So when they said satisfaction guaranteed, I kind of went, okay, this is good. This is good. When life shoves you in a certain direction, even though it may be gentle force, sometimes that has to happen to get us out of a certain comfort zone. But anyway, for a lot of you, this is the universe is working on your behalf to kind of guide you. This will set you on the next path, or on the right path. Again, it doesn't mean you're not on the right path right now, but most of you will understand what I mean. This will help you move more into something that is more of your calling. But that doesn't surprise me. We are at an age and at a time of our evolution where we are becoming much more than ever before conscious of how our beliefs and how we feel is responsible for creating our reality. And this is a time where old structures are being broken, and old outdated ideas and outdated ideas could be shifted or changed, or new ideas could be implemented. And I've been feeling this for a while, and it comes out in most of my sessions. This particular time right now, even though it's plenty of chaos, it is profoundly potent in terms of manifestation. That's why it's so important to try and do our best, not focus on the fear. So this general message applies to every single sign as far as I'm concerned. So if you want to check the other elements, because I'm sure most of you have houses in other signs and other elements, chances are most of the messages, general messages for all the elements, will somehow apply to you. I always ask for information that is universal and not bound to a sign, because that really doesn't work. So that's what I saw, and it goes without saying that this is a time where self-promotion becomes necessary. What does that mean? It means if you have been aware of having certain gifts but not being able to use them, or having been afraid to use them, this is a time and a perfect opportunity to promote your skills and your gifts, because by promoting your skills and your gifts, there is an opportunity to create something of solid structure and solid foundation that in time can pay you dividends. And paying you dividends means emotionally, spiritually, and financially being able to contribute to your life or to support you. And again, even though it's a beautifully flowered message, this really says to me, for example, if you've had abilities, healing abilities, and your job has been put on hold, talk about your healing abilities, use your healing abilities, practice your healing abilities, because chances are, if you have it and you're aware of it, then chances are quite high there's a reason why you have it in this life. So don't waste the opportunity to try something different using these gifts. It doesn't mean you have to quit your job. It doesn't mean you can't go back if you are temporarily at home, but it does mean that this gives you the opportunity to try something that perhaps otherwise you wouldn't have done it for various reasons. Too busy, not enough time, which I guess is the same, a whole bunch of other excuses. And now there is no excuse. And this might be just the thing that you need in order to be happy. And I always talk about, there's no thing that can bring you happiness, but if you have shied away from using your gifts, whether they are painting, speaking, singing, healing, adding numbers, whatever it is, if you've been aware of having something that's a skill or that's a gift and you have not used it or you have suppressed it in the past, and now your situation is looking in a certain way, then here's a great opportunity for you. So showcasing your talents over the next 2 to 3 months becomes incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important. For some of you, it is showcasing your talents in terms of groups or in community. I mean, again, we have plenty of opportunities where we can share our gifts with other people. And as a result, several things will happen. We will help other people. It will make us feel good, and it will help us become more accepting of our gifts and also more comfortable with our gifts, with expressing our gifts. So that's another message. Yet another message was, I saw us having a soft focus, because my rising is Libra. So what's a soft focus? Soft focus is focusing softly, but not too intensely. It's almost like have an idea of what you would like, but don't what's the word I want to use, please? Don't cling on it for dear life. In other words, give it some breathing room. And I want to give you a specific example. Okay, let's use the healing ability as an example. Let's say this is a time where it's a perfect opportunity to try some healing abilities on other people, because, well, you've been asked to stop working, you've self-quarantined, and people are reaching out to other people, and you can do healing work. Often, much of healing work can be done online. And you decide, well, maybe this is a good idea or a good time to try those healing abilities. And have a vision of doing that and being successful at it. But don't try to hang on to how is it going to happen? How much money am I going to make from it? When is it going to arrive to me? What does that mean in terms of... Make it be fun and try not to make it something you are too attached to, because whenever we attach to anything, it acts as a limitation. Okay, oftentimes we're attached to things out of fear. Now, let me go through some cards, even though I feel I don't have to, but let me go through some cards. So what are the most important components for the next 2 to 3 months for air signs? Insight and childlike expression. So I will let you look at these cards, Ganesha cards, and then I will let you know what I intuitively feel. Okay? So for a lot of you, the inside is obviously your third eye. It's your third eye, chakra. Third eye, yes, third eye. And it's about psychic vision. It's about premonition. It's about being able to see the bigger picture. And many of you are choosing to not only look at things that are important to you in terms of satisfaction and how you can implement most of these things into your life, but also reassessing some of the things that have been up until this point. And what I see you doing is I see you assessing things. What's worth my time? What isn't worth my time? What is of value to me? What isn't of value to me? So I see a lot of you, us, are really looking at things in a magnified way in order to really decipher, is this something I still need in my life, or is this time in this time of chaos, or is this an opportunity for me to move on from whatever this is. On the other hand, you might be looking at, okay, this is something that I have been avoiding because I didn't have time. Now that I'm being given time, now that the universe is working in my favor and is creating this time for me, maybe it's time for me to try this new thing, or try something new way, or try a new exercise plan outdoors, or try a different way of looking at myself and maybe loving my body. I mean, we can implement, this is a time, I'm telling you guys, this is a time where implementing new structures, new ideas that will eventually form strong foundations, this is so incredibly important right now because the energy is very potent. It is very supportive of creating new, solid foundations that will serve us moving forward. And for each and every one of you, this is going to be different. Some of you will be looking at things in terms of, does this, what I'm looking at, feed my inner child? Or does this take away from feeling or being connected, or from my inner child feeling good? When I say inner child, I mean the aspect of you that is vulnerable, yes, but I'm going to say it's the aspect of you that feels, that is vulnerable, that is childlike, innocent. That's essentially what your core is. Your core is innocence. Your core is love. Within each and every one of us, there is an inner child that's innocent and pure, and then we have our experiences. So what this is telling me is that many of you are turning into things that ultimately make you very happy. And some of these things could go back as far as, I'm going to say it differently. When I was very young, at about age of 4 or 6, or even maybe younger, 5 maybe, I said to myself, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher. And then I let that go. And as years went by, as in I'm having this YouTube channel and speaking with you, I'm beginning to realize that really what I do is I give information, but essentially is what Spirit teaches me, and I forward that information to you. So it puts me in a position of a teacher. And but this is not the type of a teacher I was thinking of when I was younger, because my frame of reference towards the word teacher was very different. So if I look back into my childhood and ask myself, what is it that I wanted to do when I was young? I wanted to be a teacher. Right now I am a teacher. So it's about some of you looking back and saying, when I was very young, what is it really that brought me joy? What is it really that fed my soul? And some of you, it could have been painting. Some of you could have been you being helpful to others. Some of you, it could have been expressing yourself in singing. I mean, there is literally, the list is endless. And then what happens as we get older, we get responsible, we get busy, and then we suppress these aspects of ourselves, and essentially at some point we begin to suffer because we begin to feel unfulfilled. So this card to me represents a lot of fulfillment or possibility of expression that will ultimately make you feel very, very fulfilled. Now, just because I say it's going to make you feel fulfilled, it does not mean it doesn't come without its challenges. Sometimes the very fact that it's so challenging, it ends up being very fulfilling, because if it's easy, well, it just kind of loses its flavor. You know what I mean? So by all means, this does not mean that there is going to be no challenges, but these challenges will pay off incredible dividends. And that's an interesting term. I think I've used it twice again, or they used it twice again. So this is a time for you to connect with your soul and basically have a conversation with your soul and say, hey, my soul, I hear you. What are we going to do next? How are we going to express ourselves that makes us more in tune with one another, and it's makes us work as a collaboration versus just talking, just creating with your head. Now, in order to come to that point, we have to be open. Right now, this time ushers incredible opportunities. And again, it's the analogy that's being shown to me is of a hurricane. When a hurricane hits something that was not stable for a very long time, most surely the hurricane will break whatever has been weak or not solid in terms of foundation. And once the hurricane passes, the damage, so to speak, is assessed, and then we begin to build anew. Except rarely do we rebuild to the old way. Generally, when we rebuild, we upgrade. Take a house, for example. If a house is destroyed, and I'm not saying that's what's happening, but if a house is destroyed in a hurricane because it was foundationally not very strong, then when you go back and rebuild the house, chances are you're going to put some upgrades. You're going to put in stronger foundation. You're going to use new material that is much more durable. You're going to perhaps make it bigger, more spacious. You get the picture. Rarely do you go back to recreating something that's the same. Generally, that doesn't happen. Generally, when we recreate with improvements. And so be open for that. Be open to creating something potentially very beautiful out of this harmony, this harmony that is happening all over the world. And this will pass. I had an interesting vision with regard to this virus. I was watching something on YouTube, and they showed a vision of a picture or a depiction of this virus. I remember it was green, round with these things poking out. And it caught my attention, and it was on the screen, and then I looked at it and I heard it say to me, "Look at me." And I thought, isn't that interesting? This virus is asking me to face it. Now, what does this virus represent? It represents fear. It represents death. And death is transformation. So this virus is asking us to transform willingly or otherwise. Perseverance. What number is this? 28. Interesting. Because 2 and 8 comes to a 10. Again, that's a confirmation of closing doors, closing cycles, letting go of karmic cycles. Most of us know what that means. In other words, for many of us, there's an opportunity to stop repeating the same patterns. After all, right now, most of our current patterns have come to a stop. Some patterns stopped existing because everything has come to a halt. So persevere we will, and as a result of that, we'll come out of it with not only a brand new level of understanding. Most of us, some of us want to stay as is. But if you're watching this, chances are you're not going to be the one that's staying, because it's just, I don't feel you would be connected to this channel. Just you wouldn't be connected to this energy. So the message with this is we will persevere. Every single one of you will persevere, and we will come out of this. Because one thing is for certain, nothing ever stays the same forever. It just doesn't. This too will pass. But we have an incredible opportunity here to create new life patterns going forward. I'm looking at this hand here, and I've never been drawn to this ring before, ever. This is the first time, and I've seen this card hundreds of times. And to me, it's a pearl, and it's, what's the stone? Green stone. Oh my goodness. I forget the name. You guys know what it is. Please enlighten me on the comments. It's at the tip of my tongue. Anyway, it's color of healing. Pearl, one of the what's the word I want to use? Pearl, I believe, stands for feminine energy, if I'm not mistaken. Pearl is also something that comes out of interesting situations, because in order for pearl to be formed, the oyster has to have a grain of sand that ultimately creates an environment where the pearl is formed. So through constant, I can't use the words here, through constant pressure of the sand and the oyster, and the resistance between one and the other, that's when a pearl is formed. So the pearl to me indicates a fruitful new beginning as a result of something very uncomfortable. And there's a huge potential in that for healing. I think we all will agree that the potential for healing right now, not only healing ourselves, but ultimately healing the planet. And when we heal ourselves, we heal the planet. The potential for healing is extraordinary right now. Absolutely extraordinary. All of us are basically faced with looking at our safety. That's essentially what's happening right now. We are all thinking in terms of safety. Are we safe? How are we safe? What is it that makes us feel safe? The level of safety we feel is indicative of the level of fear we feel as well. So the more fearful we are inside, the more attached we are to fear-based thinking, the less peace we have inside, the less safety we feel inside. And safety is obviously something we can touch: money, safety, security, all that stuff. But there is such thing as emotional safety. Of course, everyone knows that. So it is the emotional component that we are being asked to look at. What defines your safety inside? If some of your belief is that your safety comes from helping other people, well, then you will spend most of your time making sure you're helping other people in order to stay safe. But there is no way of sustaining that, because it does not come from a very balanced space. Helping somebody from the space of feeling safe is beautiful. But helping somebody because you feel that's going to make you feel safe, what happens the moment someone doesn't need your help? Then you no longer feel safe. So we're being asked to look at our internal mechanisms. What drives us? What beliefs create our reality? And all of that is up for discussion right now, which means it's full center. Just like the virus said to me, look at me. We are being asked to observe, to assess and reassess, and eliminate that which no longer serves a greater purpose and adopt that which does. So hugely important. Don't shy away from giving of yourself. And some of you will have a tendency to hold back. Again, why do we hold back? Pure and simple. We hold back out of fear. And I can actually feel it in my throat. And so some of you will be feeling this in your throat, right here at the base of my throat. And I feel for majority of us, and not just air signs, there's a lot of clearing going on in our throat and heart chakra, predominantly throat and heart chakra. So it's about our feeling and how we express, speaking our truth, voicing our truth. There's no question we are being asked to have courage. This card came up, so has this card came up with other signs or with the other elements. So the cards are repeating. And spiritual quest came out as well with the other elements. So the cards are repeating, and there's a reason for that, because we're basically all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat to one, to one extent or another. Let me go through. Let me just see what time it is. Let me just go through some of the specific signs. So for the sign of Gemini, what came up for you is Queen of Cups. As a result of whatever it is that you may be losing during these times, you will actually gain more independence. And not only is this independence financial, but this independence is about feeling of value. And I feel many of you will literally reassess your entire value system as far as you understand it. And you will begin to take steps necessary for you to fundamentally change your belief about what you are in terms of value. And I'm being asked to give an example. If you've always felt that you are not good enough on some level, not the critical, logical mind that says, no, I'm fine. No, the deeper aspect of you, the ones that when you get triggered, that one, if you've come from a place where you have been told that you are not enough, and that has been an imprint on your psyche, you will naturally hold yourself back. And as a result of that, you will have certain expectations. And I feel that during this time, you are taking your beliefs apart and you're basically saying, F this. I no longer choose to be the person that feels not enough, and you begin to reclaim your power. That is profound. That is profound. And imagine what that will do for your life going forward. I can't even begin to tell you the possibilities and opportunities that can come from that. So there is a sign of independence here. Financial, internal independence, just feeling really, really good. So that's for Geminis. And I feel for many of you, it's been a long, long time. It's been a long, long, long time. For the sign of Libra, this is interesting. The Queen of Cups came about. So again, another queen. And what this is telling me is that momentarily, you may not feel in control of your emotions, or another way of saying it, your emotions may be in control of you. Now, that is not unexpected necessarily, considering what's going on. So you may have moments where you will dip more than usual, you'll dip into feeling scared or feeling like you don't know what's going to happen. Your fears will be amplified. But I will share this with you. Whatever fears are amplified right now is a very good indication of your emotional foundation. So if you can look at it that way, and if you can use your fears in order to understand what your deep deep belief is, then what will happen is you will begin to form a different relationship with your fear. And that in turn will help you manage your fear better. But also you will use this as a tool to move forward, because the only way to deal with a fear in a way that will, that will pay dividends in the end is to face it. Okay, it's to face it. And we are all facing fears in some way, shape, or form. So that's for Libras. For Aquarians, look at this. You've got the Four of Wands, the Six of Wands. That's victory. And relative to what I was talking about earlier, jobs, careers, at the end of the day, and I feel this is for most of you, it's by the end of May, you will feel victorious in some aspect of your life. You will either have overcome an addiction, you will have cut some ties to certain attachments that have bound you and limited you. You would have created something that will ultimately make you feel victorious. This omen, this card, is very, very, very positive. So if this is an indication of where you're going, I think that's a pretty good sign. There's a lot of power in this. And I said, what drives us? An elk. This is a depiction of a leader. Okay. For some of you, I want to say, don't get too hot-headed. This is a time where the anger may be amplified, so don't get too headed. A leader is neither in one of two extremes. A leader is a good leader, a successful leader, let's use the word successful leader, although I feel there's another word, please. I forget the word. A good leader will be somewhere in the middle. Okay, he or she will not be too stubborn about what they believe, and on the other hand, they will not be too influenced by what other people say. They will be somewhere in the middle, and that's where character comes in. That's where strong character comes in. And last but not least, the Phoenix. This is our spirit. This is a card that depicts our spirit. Let's not waste this opportunity for transformation, because this time has the potential to yield incredible gains down the road if we take advantage of it. And it landed in reverse. Sometimes I look at cards in reverse, sometimes I don't. In this case, the message here is don't resist the change, because it's like I was giving you the example of a house that is built on weak foundation, and a hurricane comes in and wipes whatever has been weak, and then you are rebuilding, and you're rebuilding it in a new, stronger way. That's basically the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is what's happening globally. This is an opportunity for us to massively transform, massively transform. So what I want to say here is this: don't be the ones left behind, because the world needs you. However, when I say the world needs you, I don't want you to go, oh my God, the world needs me, I need to give of myself. The world needs you to be strong and solid, because when you give from the space of being strong and solid, then not only are you helping others, you're helping yourself and you're helping others. If you are giving from a space of yourself that is weak, from a space that is riddled with fear, all you're going to do is you're going to further amplify your fears going forward, because for various reasons. So I'm not saying the world needs you, therefore be a martyr. I'm saying the world needs you to be strong and to be sure of yourself. And I don't mean the ego that says, look at me. No, I mean that aspect of you that is more than the ego, let's call it the spiritual aspect of you, that part of you. So use this time to create that space, whatever that means to you, however it lands in your logic, however it lands in your mind. And I'm just being asked not to over-explain. What happens sometimes when I over-explain a message, the message loses its original meaning. So sometimes saying less is actually saying more. And with that said, that's all I have for you. I hope you like this new format. I actually really like it. I was struggling for a while because everybody's on computer these days. They want to hear predictions. It's like, oh my God, should I just keep doing? And it's like, Joanna, this is what people want, but people don't need predictions. People want reassurance. And people want reassurance, and also they want tools how to be stronger, how to create better lives. They don't want someone to tell them what's going to happen. That's taking their power away. So it's like, okay, I'm exactly where I need to do, and I'm just going to keep being guided and keep following the same guidance, which is my job and my aim and my absolute joy is to give you tools so that you can understand yourself, so that you can go out and create lives that you want. Okay? Please comment if you like this format. If you are not a subscriber to our private Team Joanna Facebook page, please go there. We have a lot of people, a lot of members, so that I'm going to be doing things just for that. And with that said, I wish you best of luck. I look forward to seeing you again, and see you soon. Take care.